Hello everyone, today is 25th of November. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Friends, today into the GS folder, we will be taking a quote from the Amartya Sen, the Nobel laureate. So guys, he says that every adversity, every dialectical challenge is potentially a learning experience, but it need not go that way if we refuse to learn. Now guys, this particular quote happens to be very important into the present times of the pandemic of COVID-19. It has been observed that various deficiencies into the economic system, social system and political system has been exposed, and now it is the best time to rectify these particular problems. For example guys, onto the economic front, it has been realized that how the self-sufficiency or the Atmanirbharta is needed. Onto the political front, it has to be seen that how more political accountability of the executives is needed into the face of the crisis. Onto the social terms, it is needed to be seen that how social inequalities are further aggravating this particular crisis. So all these learnings could be taken up and a better, sustainable and all inclusive society can be built. So guys, the Amartya Sen's position here becomes very much important into the present times, and this particular idea we can utilize very fluidly in any of the GS paper, that is 1 2 3 4, as well as into the paper of essay. So guys, that's all about this particular thing, and now let's take the newspaper analysis. Guys, in today's newspaper analysis, we will be taking the articles from the Hindu newspaper, Live Mint, Indian Express, and Business Standard. Now, guys, let's see the overview of the articles that we will be discussing today. Friends, I would like to tell you that you can visit to our Telegram channel, and from there you can download the infographics into the PDF format as well as the PDF of the daily notes. Moreover, guys, if you don't know, we have also released the fortnightly compilation of the important editorials covering all the prominent sources. You can also download it also from our Telegram channel. The link has been given into the description. Now guys, first of all, this particular article, it has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is talking about the cyclone Nevar. Now guys, we will be talking entire thing with respect to the cyclones from GS1 as well as GS3 perspective. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Mint newspaper and it is talking about the safe harbor protection. So what is this entire issue we will be taking up? Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express and it is talking about the Germany's new boardroom quota and how into the GS paper number 1 and 2 we can utilize. We'll see this. Then guys, this particular article has been taken from the Business Standard and it is talking about the digital strike 3.0. So we will see this entire issue. Then guys, this article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is talking about the recent Reserve Bank of India's internal working group committee recommendations problems. Then guys, this particular article is also onto the similar lines. We'll be seeing this also. Then guys, this particular article has also been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is talking about the tribal and their issues into the Jammu and Kashmir. We'll see this. Then guys, this particular article has again been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it talks about the Afghanistan problems into the aftermath of the troop withdrawal. Then guys, this particular article has been again taken from the Hindu and it is talking about the Poshan Abhiyan and how it is now in the need of a boost. So we will be seeing all these particular issue. So guys, that is all about the important articles for today, and now let's discuss them in detail. Now guys, taking up the first news. So it has been taken from the Hindu newspaper and it is talking about the cyclone Nevar, which is about to strike the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. Now guys, as we are talking about the cyclone, this happens to be the another significant cyclone which will be hitting. Earlier, you might have heard that the cyclone Ampan was there, which made a landfall into the West Bengal and to Odisha. So guys, let's discuss little bit about the cyclone and this particular event under the perspective of GS paper number 1, where the geographical phenomena have been mentioned. Now guys, first of all, when we are talking about the cyclone, there could be first of all two types of cyclones, that is a tropical cyclone or an extratropical cyclone. Now guys, extratropical cyclones are also called as the temperate cyclones because into the temperate region majorly they are formed. Now guys, when we are talking about India, the present cyclone, that is the cyclone Nivar, it is a type of a tropical cyclone. Fine. Now, what do we understand by cyclone into the most basic and most simple kind of terms? So, guys, it is nothing but a kind of a wind system where there is a low pressure in middle. Now, guys, whenever there will be a low pressure and a high pressure, the basic principle of geography is this, that the wind will flow from the high pressure to the low pressure. The more low pressure, the more the intensity or the velocity of wind will be. Now guys, into the cyclone, a kind of an immense low pressure zone is formed, and because of this particular thing, winds from all the direction, they converge into this particular zone. And guys, as the Coriolis force is at play, these particular winds, when they are converging, they take a kind of a circular path, and therefore a kind of a circular cyclone is formed. Now guys, when we are talking about the cyclone, there are certain conditions for the formation of a cyclone. These conditions are: number one, there need to be the large sea surface with the temperature of 27 degrees Celsius or more. Now guys, when the large sea surface will be there, it will provide the adequate supply of moisture to the cyclone so that it can sustain and it can grow. After that guys, there needs to be the presence of the Coriolis force. So guys, we had seen that the Coriolis force is a kind of a fictitious force which gives that circular pattern. So Coriolis force needs to be there. After that guys, there needs to be the small variation into the vertical wind. Now guys, what happens when the winds from all the sides, they are coming at this low pressure zone? After that guys, here after converging, they rise. Fine. And when they will be rising, they will be carrying the moisture, and that particular moisture after going up will be bringing the torrential rain and all such kind of things. Now guys, when these winds are rising, if there will be the strong vertical winds, what will happen? This particular rise will be disturbed and the cyclone will dissipate. So the vertical winds need not to be there. After that guys, there needs to be a pre-existing low pressure. So this low pressure is then basically reinforced. So a kind of a prevalence of low pressure zone earlier also needs to be there. Then guys, the next condition for a cyclone is that the upper divergence needs to be there above the sea system. So guys, when these winds will be rising after reaching a particular height, they will diverge through all the sides. So guys, these are the conditions for a tropical cyclone, and these all conditions are now meeting into the Bay of Bengal, and because of this particular thing, the cyclone Nivar has been formed, and now guys, it is about to make a landfall towards the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. You can see this particular zone where it will be making a landfall. Now guys, this particular issue is being taken up very seriously because in 2015 we had seen that there was a severe cyclone, and after that there was huge destruction which was carried. So guys, now a very much serious concern is being given. Now guys, when we are talking about cyclones, let's also see the categories of the cyclones. So guys, there could be some categories. For example, there could be the depression, which is a kind of a lowest category. After that, there could be a deep depression. Then actually the cyclone storms come. After that, there is a severe cyclone, very severe, extremely severe, and super cyclone. Now guys, this particular cyclone Nivar, it is now being expected that it is a category of this very severe cyclone. Clear? Very severe cyclone. The wind speeds here are between 118 to 165 kilometer. So it is into this particular category. Now guys, earlier I had given you the reference of the cyclone Amphan. So when the cyclone Amphan was coming, it was into the earlier time expected that it will be the category of the super cyclone and it might cause a severe destruction, but as it reached towards the land, it particularly dissipated. Now, one more important thing, that often it has been seen that when the cyclone goes towards the land, it gets dissipated, it becomes very weak. What is the reason? Guys, reason simple is this. Just focus on to the point number one. Into the point number one, we need to have a large sea surface where the continuous moisture is being provided, because this moisture will sustain the cyclone. Now, as the cyclone reaches towards the land, this supply of moisture is cut off. So simply the cyclone becomes weaker and weaker as it proceeds towards the land. Now guys, the Nivar might also, presently it is being said that it is a very severe category, but as it will be going further, it might also get dissipated. Now guys, when we are talking about the super cyclones, they are very much problematic. They cause huge destruction because see, their wind speeds here will be approximately 221 kilometer plus, and such kind of cyclones have been faced. For example, in 2013, Philene was the super cyclone, and in 1999 there was also the super cyclone which caused the huge destruction. So guys, this particular matter is being taken up very seriously, because presently if you see the COVID-19 times, the social distancing and so much of health crisis are there, and into this, if this new problem comes, the problems will become more aggravated. Further, guys, as we are talking about the cyclone, into this particular thing, let's see some attachment from the point of view of the GS paper number 3, disaster management also. So as the cyclone will be coming, it will bring a huge destruction, so it will turn into a disaster. And guys, whenever the disaster is there, there is the National Crisis Management Committee, which is the highest committee under the center, which looks for the disaster management if these kind of vulnerabilities happen to be. So guys, NCMC is also onto the standby, and it might also be coming into the action if it brings the destruction. So guys, in the coming few hours, we need to see that where it will be unfolding. So guys, this is all about this particular news item. I hope that you have understood, important for our GS paper 1 as well as GS paper number 3. So that's it, and now let's take the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Mint newspaper, and it is talking about the safe harbor protection. Fine. Now, safe harbor protection, it is important for our GS paper number 3, cyber security or the social media regularization. Fine. So for that, we will be using it. Now, talking of this particular article, guys, safe harbor protection, it is a kind of a basically a shield or a protection which is given to the social media, that is the sites such as the Facebook, Twitter, etc. Now under the safe harbor, the government or any other entity cannot sue or cannot file a charge onto these social media websites for any particular post or any particular kind of content. So protection is given under the safe harbor provisions. Guys, in India, we are having the safe harbor provisions under section number 79A of the IT Act. Similarly, various countries have provided the protection under the different kind of provisions. For example, USA has provided the protection under the section number 230 of the US Communication Decency Act. Now guys, all around the world, into the US, into the India, now the talks are going on that these particular provisions need to be diluted, and now the social media needs to be asked for more accountability for the content which is being posted onto these websites, because into the last few years we had seen that huge religious hatredness, polarization, a kind of propaganda is being spread out through these social media websites. So therefore there is a talk that these social harbor protections will be diluted. And guys, just a few days back, there was a congressional hearing into the USA where this particular matter was taken up very seriously. Now guys, as the safe harbor protection is being diluted, there are the criticisms as well as there are some people who are into the favor. So let's see them one by one. First of all, seeing the criticism, guys, it has been said that it is nothing but a kind of a censorship onto the social media, which is earlier characterized by the free flow of information, free expression and all such kind of thing. How the censorship will come? When the social media giants could be sued, obviously they will be putting more strong filters so that the people cannot express their opinions, and by those filters obviously the censorship will be coming. Then guys, it has been said that social media, actually they are the middlemen, they are not generating any feed. So how the middlemen can be charged? And it is nothing but the practice of shooting the messenger, where you criminalize or penalize that person who is just carrying the information. So this is the bad thing. Then guys, third, it has been said that when the information, these particular things will be brought, guys, by this government will also get much more power that they can ask any kind of data from the social media. Now just take the example from the of the WhatsApp. Now all the chats that are happening onto the WhatsApp, they are safeguarded or they are protected by end-to-end encryption. Fine, even the WhatsApp cannot read it, social media cannot read it, just you and me can read this particular chat. Now as the safe harbor laws will be diluted, then guys, the social media needs to provide their viewpoint that as they were not wrong. And into this particular thing, immense information is to be shared with the government, and this particular thing will be bringing an implication that there will be the increased government surveillance, the encryption will need it to be diluted and all such kind of things, and ultimately the privacy of the citizens will also be compromised. So these are all the criticisms which say that the safe harbor protection should not be taken back. Whereas against or basically there are some also people who are talking into the favor of this particular move. They said that number one, social media is not only the messenger. This understanding is wrong. Social media right now is running the proprietary algorithmic programs. Now, by these algorithms, basically social media is drawing the patterns that which information is to be shown to which person. So basically a psychological profiling is being carried by the social media. So therefore into this particular phenomena, the social media are needed to be held responsible when the information is flowing from them. They actually carry the post moderation. Whatever you are writing, your audience have been designed already by the Facebook, so they need to take the responsibility. Moreover, guys, it has actually been said that actually this entire issue has been misunderstood by the people. There is not the talk that entirely this particular safe harbor protection will be taken back. Rather, more checks and balances are being fixed so that the more responsibility is being taken by these social media companies. So it is just an attempt to bring the greater and enhanced responsibility. So this is all about this particular issue, guys. Both the viewpoints that is in favor as well as into the against we have seen. And in GS paper number 3 under the social media, a very big probability is there that a direct question, or even if not, then indirect way you can write such things. So guys, that's all about this particular issue, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Indian Express explained page, a very good reference for your GS paper number 1 social issues as well as for your GS paper number 2 women. Guys, under the sexual inequality which is prevalent into the world, this particular thing will be coming as an antidote. What is the issue? I will explain you. Guys, often we had seen that the women face a problem of the glass ceiling. Now, glass ceiling means that they cannot reach over a particular level. Fine. So there is a kind of a ceiling which is stopping the women. Why? Because the masculinity always see the femininity as something which is not having the capability as of men. So this is a bad notion which goes into the society. Because of this particular thing, if you will see into the top management or into the top boards, okay, the boards of the corporates, women representation is very much less. And this is a kind of a sexual inequality. So into this particular direction, the Germany has taken a very good step. What they have done, they have passed the Senior Management Position Act, by which every corporate needs to mandatorily give representation to the women into the senior management positions. It has been said that into the executive board of all the listed companies, minimum 30% of the participation has to be given to the women. Moreover, into all the companies or into all the enterprises where the federal government is having the stake, there also minimum 30% of participation or reservation or the quota for the women has to be kept. And this is actually a very good way in which the women can be provided their stake, or in which the women can be provided their long due representation. Now guys, talking about this particular thing, this is not out of the blue that such kind of thing has come. But guys, since 2015, Germany is pushing the greater gender equality. For example, guys, in 2015, the provisions were made where the voluntary quota was defined. It was said that corporates by their own initiative, they should give them the position. No statutory provision was there. But guys, nothing came onto this particular front. And according to a report in Germany, basically into the Germany, 115 major publicly traded companies, they are not having even a single woman onto their board, and it shows that the huge dislike against the women into the senior management position. So therefore, now as a consequence, it has been provided that now mandatorily the positions have to be reserved. Now guys, if we talk about the Germany in particular, then guys, only 12.8% women are there into the management board for the companies which are being publicly traded, that is onto the DAX index of the Germany. Now, this particular thing is good for the Germany, as well as it can also set a template which can be followed into the other countries as well. Guys, in India also, we tried to raise the bill for reserving the 33% of the seats into the parliament for the women, but the bill has not been passed even till today. So India should also learn, guys, particularly when you are writing the corporate governance answers in GS paper number 4 under the topic number 6, there the corporate governance has one particular issue, that the gender inequality is there. So in India, the corporate should also learn, as well as the legislature should also learn. So a very good reference point for our exam. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Business Standard, and it is talking about the new digital strike fine which has been made by the government of India, and the new apps have been banned. Now guys, first of all, if we see the history of banning of apps by the government, then guys we can find that till now 220 apps have been banned. For the first time into the June, 59 apps were banned. Then guys, 118 apps were again banned into the September, and now the 43 new apps have been banned. Guys, you don't need to remember these number of apps or the month in which they were being banned, just for putting the things into the perspective. I have told you this thing. Now guys, basically the apps which has been banned, they include the very popular applications, that is the Ali Express, Snack Video, Camcard, Heroes Evolved, Asian Date, that was a dating app, and many millions of people has downloaded these apps. Now guys, first of all, when the app is being banned, who has banned the app? So app has been banned by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology by using the provisions of section 69A under the IT Act, which provides such a power. Then guys, next comes that on what ground these apps have been banned. So guys, these have been banned because it has been said that they are working in a manner which is prejudicial to the sovereignty, integrity, defense of India, security and the public order. Guys, the charge was made that these particular applications are taking up so much of the critical information or the sensitive information from the users, and this particular information can be used for some ulterior motives. Moreover, as majority of these apps are based into the China, and as with China we are not having the good relations, so into the name of the national security, these particular applications have been banned. Now guys, when we are talking about this particular issue, who had actually suggested, it also becomes important. So the report was given to the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology by the Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center, which works under the guidance of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Fine. Now guys, as this particular app ban has been carried, obviously there will be the two viewpoints. Some people will be appreciating it, some people will be against it. Fine. So on to that particular direction, guys. First of all, already when these 59 apps were banned, we have taken up a very extensive discussion. If you want, you can visit this particular articles into the month of the June and you can have a look. However, talking about this particular thing, guys, the criticism comes number one, that by this particular thing, we are moving towards a kind of an era where we are removing all kind of basically whatever liberalization we have carried, we are rolling back, and this particular thing doesn't send good sentiments into the market. The ease of doing business in India gets reduced when we want to call other tech solution driven companies into India, because it will send that anytime government can block such kind of things. Secondly guys, it has been said that many a times government is banning these particular applications without even looking that whether there is some alternative or not. Thirdly guys, it has been said that even under the section 69A, government needs to provide first of all the notice to these apps that they should comply if there is a problem, and even after the compliance has not been there, then government can carry forward with the banning. But government is directly banning it, and therefore it is going against the legislative spirit. Fine. So these are the criticism. However guys, on to the favor, it has been said that it is actually a very needed kind of thing, because now government is giving the strong worded message to the Chinese entity that they will not be Indian government will not let them use the Indian information for their ulterior motive. So guys, this is all into this particular direction. So that's it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. Basically here I have clubbed two articles, Say No to Corporate Houses in Indian Banking and Dangerous Suggestion. Both are talking about the recent decision of the Reserve Bank of India. Fine. Now guys, if you have seen earlier also, we have discussed this particular policy when we were discussing the internal working group report. So what has happened? First of all, telling you from the very scratch, Reserve Bank of India actually constituted a internal working group into the month of June, and it was to suggest some of the reforms to the government. Now it suggested one very important reform. It said that the corporates should be allowed to open the banks. Clear? They should be allowed to keep the ownership of the bank. Now on to this particular thing, the severe criticism has been made, and these articles are on that line only. Now first of all guys, it has been said that three of the most important criticizers here are the Raghuram Rajan, the former Reserve Bank of India chief, the Viral Acharya, former deputy governor of the Reserve Bank, and the credit rating agencies S&P. So they have said that this particular thing is a very bad thing. Fine. Now, guys, particularly an article was also written onto the LinkedIn by the Raghuram Rajan and Viral Acharya, where they have called this idea as bad. First of all, number one, this particular suggestion to allow the corporate to own the bank in India is not a new suggestion. Even in 2013, Reserve Bank of India called the request positions from the corporates that if they want to open a bank, please send us the request. Though none of the corporate was given the license. License was actually given to the IDFC and Bandhan. Corporates were not allowed, but guys, even in 2013, Reserve Bank has shown some inclination. Now, guys, even the Raghuram Rajan, who is now criticizing this particular idea, even in 2008, when he was heading the Committee on the Financial Sector Reforms, there he also criticized this particular thing as bad. He says that in even US, there is the prohibition between the entities who are doing the commerce as well as who are into the banking. It creates a conflict of interest. So therefore he was the criticizer in 2008, even in 2020. So guys, first of all, let's see what are the criticisms, what are the major contentions here. Number one, guys, it has been said that though onto the excuse that these sectors will be bringing the capital, we talk about allowing them, but there is a number one problem is of interconnected lending. Interconnected lending means, guys, when the corporates will be owning the bank, they will be giving loans to their own businesses. Secondly, they will be giving loans to the people who are their suppliers, their vendors, their their buyers, and everybody who is connected with the interest of that particular corporate. They will be getting the money, and this particular flow, it is a kind of an open tap. Fine. And into this particular thing, many a times people's hard-earned deposits will be used for some kind of basically into some kind of a things where the due compliance has not been. It is a bad thing. After that, guys, it has been said that it is leading to the concentration of economic power. Now the big businesses, big corporates, already they are having so much of the economic clout, and when they will also be owning the banks, there will be further concentration, and by this particular thing, they will abuse their dominant position. There will be the economic monopoly of these particular enterprises. Thirdly, guys, it has been said that there will be the sentimental issues which will bringing the banking to some kind of unstabilized position. I will explain this particular thing. See, just assume that the Reliance had owned a bank. They opened up a bank. Now, suppose the Reliance is having other entities also. For example, Reliance Energy is there, Reliance Infrastructure is there. Fine. Now, suppose other subsidiaries of Reliance, they started to perform bad and their perception is going every day down. Now, guys, as the reliance onto other sectors will be going down, there will be the perception of people that their bank is also not stabilized, and therefore out of these particular sentiments, people will also start to withdraw the money from the bank, which is anyhow a different entity. And by this particular thing, the bank will become unstabilized. And guys, every day we know that as the stock prices go up and down, people's sentiment will also be driving which bank is now more stabilized, which bank is tomorrow stabilized. This particular thing is very bad. So guys, these are the issues. Moreover, guys, there is even more problems that it has been said that a suggestion was given by the internal working group that you bring a kind of a law. Fine. And by bringing the law, for example, it was said that into the Banking Regulation Act of 1949, you bring particularly a check. Fine, that these corporates will not use the banks for their interconnected lending and all this particular kind of thing, and after that give the license. But it has been said that thing is also not possible. How it is not possible? We'll see. Number one, guys, it has been seen that the corporates, they have flouted all the laws, the taxation laws, the money laundering laws. Many times we had seen that they have abused them because they have so innovative techniques. So guys, even if you bring the legislation into the Banking Regulation Act, if they want, they can bypass that particular thing very easily. Routing can be done. Secondly, guys, even it has been said that even if you bring the law to prevent the corporates from not going into the interconnected lending, you can only take action after that particular thing has happened. Fine. So what to basically, even if when the scam has happened, what you will be bringing out of that particular thing? So the need is that even before that particular thing, we should avoid this issue. Then guys, it has been said that Even okay, if somebody has abused it, bank had identified it, how the bank will react, whether the bank will be ordering the entire bank to wind up into that particular thing. There are so many people also who have deposited their money, what about them? There are so many other operations also in which the bank is involved, what about them? So even the bank's reaction we cannot decode. And guys, after that, it has been said that who will be the regulator here? Regulator will be the Reserve Bank of India. And guys, the Reserve Bank of India's credibility will be eroded. How? See this particular thing. We all know that the problem of crony capitalism is very much big. Fine, often we had seen that the governments are influenced by the corporate houses. So, guys, now the corporate houses will be influencing the government that they should tell the Reserve Bank of India that Reserve Bank of India should keep its behavior into the check. And into this particular thing, in mean course of time, the entire Reserve Bank of India's credibility will be lost into the eyes of the public. It will be seen that the Reserve Bank of India is also not saying anything to the positions which are being abused. So all these are the problems in giving the licenses to the banks for their to giving licenses to the corporates to open their banks. So guys, please do utilize all these things even if a opinion based question comes onto this particular line. So that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about the tribal issue into the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. Now guys, when we talk about the Jammu and Kashmir, it has been said that the Adivasi issue or the tribal issue has not been taken up very seriously. Guys, Adivasi issues or the reforms in India basically has been carried on two planks or on two pillars. Pillar number one, we have framed the Forest Rights Act 2006, under which the title rights are given to the forest. It means that if they are having the land on which they are carrying out their cultivation, or if they are using it for their own sustenance, they can have the ownership of that particular land. Maximum of 4 hectare of land can be given the title rights over to it. Second is that under the FRA, guys, the community rights have also been given. That is, the entire community can have the right to some of the basically non-timber resources into the forest. Clear, guys? And even into the Forest Right Act, the rights have been given to the tribals as well as for the forest dwellers. Forest dwellers are those people who are not tribal but are living into the forest for the 3 generations or the 75 years. So by this particular thing, forests have got a considerable respite. Moreover, guys, under the Forest Right Act, the much powers have also been given to the Gram Sabhas with respect to giving any approval to any new project which is coming into their region. So much good for the empowerment of the tribals, the FR Act 2006. Then guys, the next is we have given the tribals the political reservations into the election. Clear? Now guys, in Jammu and Kashmir, when we are talking, these two things were not given before the article number 370. Clear? Even the political reservation was constitutionally mandated but not given. Now guys, finally, after the status has been changed, government is giving this particular thing. Now first of all, as the reservations to tribal is being given, its impact will be very early, very soon it will be visible, because as few days after few days, the elections are going to held into the Jammu and Kashmir for the panchayats. So there we will be finding that now the tribals have their own leadership. Fine. Then guys, it has also been taken that the FRA is also finally being implemented in Jammu and Kashmir. It is a very good issue, but there is one problem which is coming here. Guys, earlier the FRA was not implemented, but a different legislation, that is the Roshni Act, was passed for the Jammu and Kashmir in 2001. Now, this particular Roshni Act provided that the land can be provided to some of the people, and actually under the Roshni Act, the land was given to some of the tribals, some of the poor people, but much in large number to the bureaucrats, politicians, or to the vested interest. But anyhow guys, even if teeny tiny benefits were there, they were. Now, as FRA 2006 is being implemented in Jammu and Kashmir, it has been said that the Roshni Act will be null and void, and all the land which was given under the Roshni Act, it will be retrieved back. So guys, when the land from the legislators, from the influential businessman, it is being retrieved, it is good. But as I have said that some of the poor people also have got the land, so their land will also be taken back. So guys, it is said that by making the Roshni Act as null and void, some kind of the negatives will be coming, and therefore guys, for the implementation of the FRA, people are more fearful, and they basically government needs to look this particular thing, that such kind of injustice doesn't happens in the excuse of bringing the FRA 2006. Secondly guys, it has been said that under the FRA 2006, when it has been implemented into the rest of the country, there was a cutoff date. Fine, and the cutoff date was December 2005. It means that the claims before the December 2005, or basically the status of the person to see whether he is entitled to get the ownership right or not, that status will be seen before the 2005 status. Okay, so if for example on 2005 December, if the person was a tribal, he will be entertained. Now such cutoff date has not been defined for the Jammu and Kashmir, and it might be a possibility that for some vested interest this particular thing will be abused, and it will actually be bringing much more travesty for the people. So guys, these are all the issues which are coming into the Jammu and Kashmir when the tribal issues are concerned. So guys, into our GS paper number 2, vulnerable section has been mentioned. Into the vulnerable section, tribals will be accounted there. So for that particular thing, a very important article. So that's it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article, it is talking about the Poshan Abhiyan. Fine. And here what has happened, the Niti Aayog has published a report where it has suggested that the Poshan Abhiyan, the intention of the government is good, but government needs to focus more expeditiously, more basically force needs to be given for the Poshan Abhiyan's success. Now, first of all, before going into the report, let's see some basics. What is the Poshan Abhiyan? Guys, Poshan Abhiyan is also called as the National Nutrition Mission, and for the first time, it was started in 2018. Now, under the Poshan Abhiyan, guys, some of the targets have been taken by the government. Now, let's see them. It has been said that first of all, the stunting and wasting will be reduced. It has been said 2% every year the stunting and wasting will be reduced, and guys, up till 2022 the 6% reduction will be carried, so by having the yearly targets. Then guys, it has been said that the anemia will also be reduced by 3% every year, and a total 9% of anemia will be reduced, fine, among the children, girls and pregnant women and the lactating mothers. Now guys, these particular targets were very much ambition given the kind of prevalence of the malnutrition into the children. For example guys, if we see the report of the National Family Health Survey, for the report from 2015 and 16, the status you can see, under the 5 years of age, the children, the stunting level is 38.4%, and among them 21% are there who are wasted. So such high prevalence are there, and into this particular direction, the Poshan Abhiyan, its targets of yearly reduction are very much ambitious and good. Now guys, even the government has constituted the National Council on India's Nutritional Challenges, and this particular council has been established under the Poshan Abhiyan. It is headed by the vice chairman of the Niti Aayog, and it provides from time to time that what is to be done into this particular direction. Moreover guys, the $200 million loan has also been given to implement this particular thing, and this loan has been taken from the World Bank. So this is all into this particular direction. Now guys, the Niti Aayog had pointed this particular thing, that actually now the need for Poshan Plus is there, because government's strategy is not bringing any active results into this particular direction. Moreover guys, it has been said that government's targets are actually very much conservative when we compare the global targets which has been taken, the targets which has been taken by the World Health Assembly under the WHO. So government needs to streamline this particular process even more aggressively, and even more focus is needed to be given. So guys, such a kind of a thing has been said here. So that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, first of all, my apologies. I can understand that you might be hearing large big bang here and there. Fine, so it is the wedding season. Fine, so please bear with it. Now guys, taking up this particular article, it has been taken from the Hindu newspaper. Fine, and it is talking about the Afghanistan crisis. Now guys, first of all, many a times we have discussed the Afghanistan crisis, and into this particular article, nothing substance has actually been given, a very general article. Fine guys, what is the issue here? issue here is this, that Afghanistan is facing the political crisis. Now guys, since 2001 you are seeing that the USA has stationed their force into the Afghanistan. Why? Because in 2001 World Trade Center was attacked, and into the World Trade Center's attack Al Qaeda was responsible, and Taliban gave the refuge to the Al Qaeda. So therefore Afghanistan was actually the place which was becoming the breeding ground for the terrorism, and because of that particular thing the Afghanistan has been occupied by the coalition forces, and so for last 20 years this particular position is going on there. Now it has been decided that the coalition forces should withdraw from the Afghanistan, and for that particular thing in 2020 actually the peace deal has been signed with the Taliban, and it has been called as the Taliban peace deal or as the Doha peace deal, because into the Doha this particular thing happened. Now guys, as a part of this peace deal it was said that into the next 14 months the forces will be withdrawing back, and the Taliban has to give an assurance that they will not be using the Afghanistan's territory for the terrorism, they will not commit the atrocities onto the citizens, and they will abandon their agenda. Now guys, into this particular line, even into the September, the talks have entered into new phase where the inter-Afghan talks are going on. Into the inter-Afghan talk, what happens? The Afghanistan government as well as Taliban one to one they are talking. The Taliban has kept certain conditionalities. For example, 5,000 prisoners of the Talibanis, they needed to be released and all such kind of thing. Now guys, that is a separate thing which is going on. But on to the sideline guys, a few days back an article was published into, I think, the Wall Street Journal, where it was said that even as all these things are going on, Taliban has not given up the atrocities, and into this particular year more than 13,000 attacks have been carried nationwide. So guys, the Taliban is actually not giving up its way even when the peace deal is going on. What is the guarantee that after the troops have withdrawn from the Afghanistan, they will be endorsing their promise? And guys, substantial troop reduction is going on up till 2021, the first month, because when the Joe Biden will be assuming the office, till then only 2,500 troops will be remaining there. So whether they will be able to handle the Taliban, whether the Afghanistan will again become a failed state, for that particular thing some considerable attention is to be taken up. So only this particular idea has been given into this particular article, very generalistic article. If you want, you can read this particular article also if you don't have any idea onto the Afghanistan issue. So guys, this is all about this particular article, and with this we culminate today's newspaper discussion. I hope you are liking our initiative and you are finding it interactive and it is assisting you into your preparation. So that's all guys for today. Thank you so much.